Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. So, were General Zod in Man of Steel and Thanos in Avengers Infinity War correct to take the course of action they did? So, Thanos has decided that half of the universe's population must die to protect the other half. So, do you think that's right? Do you think his mission is a moral one, to save the world by any means necessary, by killing off half the population? If you could do that now on the planet Earth to save the other half of the population, would you do it? Well, this is an interesting one because this story is fascinating, really. I find that Thanos and Zod in Man of Steel are very fascinating characters with the action that they've taken up. And I've purposely gone for a DCEU villain and an MCU villain just for a bit of balance, because I'm always talking about the DCEU and how much I love it and how I do like the MCU, but I'm not really a fanboy of theirs. So I want to talk about, because for the first time the MCU have got a villain that we can get our analytical teeth through. So yes, so what do I think of Thanos' course of action? He's certainly a man with feelings. He's certainly a man who cares about very little and very little people. He clearly cares about Gamora. That's probably the only life form he does care about. And ultimately, when you see him actually sacrifice her, you know one thing, that nothing is more important to him than saving the galaxy, saving creation, by killing off half of it. He thinks he's doing a good thing. And so let's stop messing about here. I'll tell you what I think. I think there's always got to be first a dialogue and a thought process about a better way. So, I mean, a lot of people, I remember my sister ringing me and saying, "Oh, what do you think, Mick? What do you think about, what happened in Avengers Infinity War? Because she only just watched it recently. Isn't it a good idea what Thanos did?" I said, well, no. If that's the only option, yes. But he's not looking for other options. He's decided that this is the best option. And something else I would say to Thanos fans, who gives him the right to kill off half of the population? If anything, he should kill himself off first. Then that might not make a lot of logic. One person, hey, one person to start, right? But the point is, killing half of the universe or half of the earth is not the right solution. You've got to think of a better way. You've got to try everything else before you do this. Killing off half the people while you survive. Right? All the way through it. And let's be honest, he didn't kill Loki to save the world or to save the universe or to save the galaxy. He killed Loki out of brutality, out of vengeance, because Loki was going to kill him. It was brutal and short-sighted, really, wasn't it? Because thinking about it, Loki could have been some use to him. So basically, in my eyes, Thanos is wrong. I think there are better ways. You can't just go around killing half the population because you've decided it's the best way to keep the other half safe. And I think this is a great comparison with Trump's wall, isn't it? So he basically wants to build a wall to keep all the illegal immigrants out and keep all the legal people in America. He believes illegal immigrants are the one problem that America has, the biggest problem, right? So he's basically saying, get out, starve to death, I don't care, you're not getting over this wall. And it's the same with Thanos, really. I don't care about those people. They can die, I don't feel guilty about it because I'm saving the world. But every person you kill probably has a son, a daughter, a sister, a friend who's going to be affected by their loss. Death changes everything, changes life forms. And for him just to kind of decide to kill half of the population because he can, because he thinks there's no other way, for me, is very selfish, very arrogant, and it's just fulfilling his homicidal kind of fantasies, really. He's a killer. He enjoys killing. And basically, the true reason is he's not actually doing it to save the world. He's just clenching a bloodlust, as far as I'm concerned. So now let's look at General Zod in Man of Steel. General Zod was cloned to protect Krypton. When he was a young man, him and Jor-El were very good friends. And he had fought many battles to protect Krypton from many people who would see harm done to it. He was a great soldier. Literally, General Zod, the Man of Steel version, was Superman on Krypton. That's who he was. He was a hero. So this is why Jor-El says to him, you know, I honour the man you once were, but not this monster you've become. Because once he was actually a hero. He was actually Superman. In fact, Jor-El wants Clark, Kal, to be what Zod was on Krypton. That's his inspiration. Now, this is not something you'll see within the film, but it's something I've gathered through Zack Snyder, through David S. Goyer, and Christopher Nolan, that this is what they were doing. So basically, Zod has come to Earth after being exiled to the Phantom Zone, but then being let free after Krypton is destroyed. So him and his disciples, or his soldiers, whatever you want to call them, have come to Earth with a machine that can turn Earth, give Earth the atmosphere of Krypton, so Kryptonians can survive on Earth. And I think it's very interesting on the Man of Steel how a Kryptonian can't just breathe on Earth. They have trouble breathing on Earth, and they wear this helmet. I think that's brilliant. I think that's an amazing thing that for the first time in an alien invasion kind of movie, we actually see the alien having trouble to adapt to the atmosphere of Earth. It's a kind of thing you'll miss with Man of Steel, but it's a really, really awesome, beautiful touch by Zack Snyder, Christopher Nolan, and David S. Goyer. I thought that was brilliant. So they've got this machine that can turn basically Earth into Krypton. But literally, it's going to kill the human race. The human race can't survive this. But Zod says to Superman, it has to be built on, the foundations have to be built on something. So basically, Zod's like Thanos. The ends justify the means. So he's saying, no, fuck them. Fuck the human race. I don't care about the human race. Now, don't forget, he's not doing what Orm's doing. Orm's got a reason to hate the human race, to want them dead. Because literally, all we do is dump our shit in his home, in his world, right? So he's got a right to be angry. We are polluting his world. We don't give two hoots about that. But we ain't done anything to Zod, right? Humanity hasn't done anything to Zod, but we're an obstacle in his way. So he just wants to kill us so him and his people can survive. Again, he's Donald Trump. He's saying, fuck the illegal immigrants. You're on the other side of the wall. I don't care if you live or die. And it's the same with Zod. And again, my opinion on it is brilliant. This is a great debate, actually. Really enjoying doing this video. And yes, Zod is wrong. But Zod knows he's wrong. This is the difference between Zod and Thanos. Thanos actually thinks he's justified. Zod doesn't particularly care if he's justified or not. All he cares is about his people. So when all his people are sucked into the Phantom Zone or dead because of Superman's actions, he's angry, he's frustrated because his whole cause is dead. His whole reason for living is gone. And that's what he says to Superman before he's dead. So when people say the fight's crap and the third act's rubbish and it's really bad, just watch the film for yourself and you'll realise, actually, the third act is fantastic. You see Zod's anger. What he says, he says, one will either you die or I die. That's brilliant because he hasn't got any reason for living. He doesn't care what happens to him. So when Superman's got his arm around his neck and he's about to break his neck, it's suicide. It's actually suicide. He knows in the end he isn't going to beat Kal. He knows, so he's actually saying to him, if you don't kill me, I'm going to kill them. He wants to die. He knows that Superman isn't going to allow those people to die. So it's absolute genius. He has nothing else to live for. Now, a lot of people I talk to don't see it like that. So, yes, of course, Zod is wrong. But the main difference between General Zod in Man of Steel and Thanos in Infinity War, Thanos is a psychopath who believes he's justified. And Zod doesn't care whether he's justified or not. But he will do anything in his power to save the Kryptonian race. And he doesn't care if he's right or wrong. That's the whole point. And that, my friends, is the difference between Zod in Man of Steel and Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. Both fantastic villains. But here on the DCEU, we're used to fantastic villains. But you on the MCU have just got your first one. And isn't it going to be a shame that just by a few punches and a few power, Power dampers, Captain Marvel can defeat him. Isn't that a bit boring?